All right, so I went yesterday. FNAF 2 came. It's Friday right now, so yesterday night, first night of showing. I went at 5 p.m. and it was packed. First of all, it was a packed movie theater, and so I walked up. I was gonna go in a suit originally, because solo movie date, go in a suit, like a security guard type of thing, and I thought it'd be fun, but I chickened out on the suit afterwards because I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna relax. I should have. Realistically, I should have done that because there were people dressed up there. There was people with FNAF shirts on. There was people who had like whole cosplays on. It was crazy. And I didn't even go to a super popular movie theater either. It's not like in like a New York City kind of thing. It's just in like a town that's relatively far away. So I went there, and I didn't know what they would have, dude. But they had I think almost every option for popcorn bucket or drink. They had this, the Faz Talker. Let me turn the music off. The Faz Talker. So this was $20. This was a popcorn bucket. Okay? And then they also had the $50 stage. The $50 stage popcorn bucket. Granted, I really wanted that one, but obviously I'm not going to get it because it's $50. It's really expensive. And I was like, I shouldn't spend that much, so I didn't. But I trust me, I really wanted to. If I was more of a FNAF fan, I would have. But like, I like Five Nights at Freddy's, but I'm not like a huge, like massive, like this is the best thing ever. So I didn't get it. I am regretting it a bit, but my wallet definitely isn't. So they had this one, they had that one, and then they had two of the drink cups as well. And apparently, I should have got one of the drink cups, because supposedly this is hard to get, and it's selling for double online, so I'm regretting it, even though I wouldn't have sold it. But I am regretting not getting it, because it was kind of cool. Where is it? Hold up. Yeah, here it is. Here it is, basically. So, let me show y'all. It's not this. So, this was the other one. So, this, straight up, this thing was huge, dude. This shit was $50. And you had popcorn in the back in the picture, and apparently the lights turned on, which is crazy shit. But I think it's really cool. Like, it's kind of sick. Like, it's reselling for double online. So Toy Chica looks kind of chopped. I don't know what happened to her face sculpt in this, but either way, this looks cool. They had it there. I didn't get it, but I rolled up and I was like, I'll get something because it's Five Nights at Freddy's. I gotta at least get either a popcorn bucket or I gotta get a drink cup. And so I decided on the Faz Talker because I kind of wanted popcorn. And it was $20, which is much cheaper than a lot of the other popcorn buckets and cups. But this thing also turns on, bro. So in the movie, I don't think these are in the game. This is in the game. In the movie, not really any spoilers. I'll say spoilers later. There's this thing that Abby gets, the Faz Talker. And it's how she talks to the toy, bro. It's in the beginning. How she talks to the toy animatronics. Because the plot is weird, bro. I'll talk about it in a second. About what the hell happens in it. But this is in the movie, and she has it, right? And so this thing turns on, dude. And I didn't turn it on during the movie. I didn't want to mess with it, because if it turned on in the middle of the movie and it was louder, I would have been so embarrassed. But there's a button on the back. And if you turn it on, it says, Abby, you there? And it shows up on here, which is kind of cool. Granted, it's not like some crazy technology. It's literally like a calculator screen. But I thought it was kind of sick. It's kind of cool. So I got this. This is the one I got. And then I didn't get a drink, which I should have because it was very salty popcorn. However, I got this, okay? And I'm regretting it because I'm sitting in ready for the movie to start, right? And it's packed, and there's people everywhere, and there was a mom, I guess, with her daughters or sons or whatever. And she, dude, okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. But if you're in a movie theater, shut up, bro. Stop talking. I get you wanting to, like, say some things to your brother or sister or friend or family or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. It doesn't matter. I get wanting to talk to the person you went to the movie with and saying some stuff, especially Five Nights at Freddy's or, like, something you care about. Because clearly, people care about the movie. But so it's me here. Okay, so I'm sitting here. To the right of me is the aisle, right? I got really lucky. I got a nice middle aisle seat. And then to the right of the aisle on the other side, which is, only like probably 2 feet away, 3 feet away, is a mom with, I think, it might have been a family of 4, but it was a mom and then 2 children. Not really children, probably teenagers. I don't know. I didn't look at them really. I just heard them talking. Either way, they're probably like young teens, normal teens. It doesn't matter. But it was a mom, the teens, and then maybe other people. But as the movie was starting, like the second it started with the like not even the credits, but the beginning opening credits, the mom and the daughter or the 2 daughters or whatever, the people were talking to each other, whispering, and I could hear it. And I was like, okay, you know what? Movie starts. Maybe someone's confused about, like, the lore, because the movie starts with Matthew Lillard, William Afton, like, talking. And he's like, get ready for the party to start or whatever. This isn't a spoiler. It's the first second of the movie. And she's like, was that in the game? And someone's like, no, that wasn't in the game. Like, that's new. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, they're just, whispering, whatever. But for almost the whole rest of the movie, she wouldn't shut the fuck up. I'm sorry to be rude, but shut the fuck up, bro. I also like to say something when I go see movies with people, right? But you have to be aware of how loud you are. Because multiple times throughout the movie, the mom was saying shh to the people, to her children, whatever. In every time, they'd still talk, but it'd just be quieter, but I could still hear it. And it was constantly the children being like, oh, like, actually, this happened in this, and blah, 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 and then, like, oh, my God. Or they would laugh, and it's okay to laugh in a movie theater, but the mom would laugh, and she'd be like, Nothing in that movie was that funny at all. And I get laughing. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with laughing in a movie, but, like, tone it down. Like, okay, if I'm laughing at something, I can, like, like, cover, like, just, come on. If it was just that, it would be fine. But that, on top of the talking, pissed me off. I didn't do anything. I didn't say shh to them like an annoying bitch, or it doesn't matter. I was like, dude, this is so annoying. And I'm too embarrassed, and I just feel like an asshole to be like, shh, because I just don't. Even though that is completely fine, and I probably should have done it, because I imagine the people in front or behind them were more annoyed because they were even closer. But constantly, it's a scary movie. It wasn't scary, but it's a scary movie, so it's a lot of dark scenes, very quiet, moments of tension. And there's 2 times in the movie that I could specifically remember only that it was completely quiet in the movie theater. And I was like, dude, on opening, maybe a week or 2 after the movie came out, even then, it shouldn't be acceptable, but still, like, okay, I let up a little bit. But opening Thursday night, shut up. Shut up. Like, shut your fucking mouth, please. Or tell your child, like, oh my, and it's just like, dude, it was so, it didn't ruin the movie for me at all, but I kind of, just, blanked it out or whatever, 30 minutes to an hour in. But I had to bring it up. Pet peeve. Either way. So, jumping back. So, the movie theater it had this cup, bro. It had the cup right here, like the normal, promo cups, plastic promo cups that movies usually have. It didn't have these figures, but it just had this cup. It had this popcorn bucket, and then this. So, it had 2 cups, 2 buckets. I also had posters, but I didn't take a poster because I wouldn't put it up anywhere, which was cool. Either way, it had this, and this is a 32-ounce tumbler. And apparently, you could only get this previously on a Fandango ticket bundle that was like $50+. And then supposedly some other movie theater chain brought it back. And bro, I was like, after the movie, I walked out and I called Coco, and I was like, Coco, do I go back and get the cup? Like, it's kind of sick. And she's like, she was at work because it was, she works till later in the night. So she didn't answer. So I'm sitting in the parking lot of the movie theater for 10 minutes. Like, dude, should I go back and get the cup? Like, I kind of want to. But now after I walked out of the movie theater, I'm embarrassed to walk back in and ask for the cup since I already bought this as well. Which I shouldn't be embarrassed. But I was sitting in my car for 10 minutes contemplating. And I was like, I don't need to spend the extra $20. The ticket was $10. This is $20. I don't need to add another. This doesn't need to be a $50 venture. If the movie was really good and I love FNAF is so much, like I'm a mega fan, I would have gotten it. But I'm not. but I'm kind of mad I got this one because the cup I would have used continually. So I'm kind of upset. Either way, I should have got the cup, bro. But that's not the point. I wanted to talk about the actual movie. Because, you know, that's the whole point of it. Am I regretting? Yes, I am. Because I'm not going to use this. This is sick. I want to hear for when you talk about FF. Are you going to play after the update? Yes, I will. Yeah. I'm going to talk about FF in like 20 minutes or 10 minutes. I didn't talk about it yet. Don't worry. I can still go back. I know, but it's just like 30 minutes away. I'm not... It's a far drive to that movie theater. But it's really nice. It has the reclining chairs and shit. So... But I'm not going to go back. I don't need it. It's consumerism. I'm restraining it because I'll save that $20 for a cool cup or a cool popcorn bucket for another movie next year that I'll really want to see. I don't know. I could watch another movie. I know, but I'll be okay. I don't need to spend the $20. It's Christmas. I'll spend it on other people. Either way. Yeah. So chat, the movie. Sorry about yapping about other shit. So FNAF 2. If you saw the first one, you'll understand what you're getting yourself into on the second one, okay? I thought the first one was okay, but I like Five Nights at Freddy's. I grew up playing, you know, the original, like, 1 or 2, 3 games. I've played all 5 now, or the main 5. You guys have seen it, obviously. But, so I like it. I'm a fan. I like Map Hat, whatever. I'm not a mega fan, but I'd say I'm a fan. So I enjoyed the first one when it came out. I didn't think it was great. It had problems. I didn't like all the problems other people had with the first FNAF movie. I probably also did myself. It wasn't really that scary at all. I wish there was more animatronic like horror moments or like, you know, stuff similar to the game. I wish it wasn't. It felt very like kid-esque at moments too, like the fort building scene. It was weird. I enjoyed it. I probably wouldn't need to rewatch the first FNAF movie, but I liked it for what it was. So I liked the games, whatever. Critically, it's like a 3 out of 10. It's not great, but as a fan, it's like a 6, 7 out of 10, whatever. Maybe a 6. Either way. First one, I enjoyed. Cut and dry. Second one. I think the second one's better than the first. Don't get me wrong. It fixes some of the problems the first one has, for sure, but it also does some things that the first one does worse, but so it's weird. So it does some things better than the first, but some things that the first one does well, it kind of regresses in like a couple areas. So first things first, without spoilers, I'll talk about that in like 5 minutes. But it's a bit scarier, which is good. It's really not that scary still. And I'm not like, I get scared. Not super easily, but when I play games on stream, you see how much of a little punani I am, okay? I get scared. So I'm not like some, I don't get scared. Like, okay, I'm about in the middle, run of the mill. I don't love scary movies, but I can tank them. But it was a bit scarier, which is cool. I think some of the atmosphere, like the feel of the atmosphere and what was happening in certain scenes, I think was more like akin to the games and the alone feeling that you kind of feel when you're, you know, scanning the hallways, whatever. But it was kind of far and few between. There was a couple good scenes that I'm like, this is perfect. Like, this is really good. And then that's it. So there's like a 15-minute scene in the movie that is exactly like FNAF 2, where it's literally exactly Mike is in there. This isn't really a spoiler because it's the game, so you'd assume this would happen. The main guy, Josh Hutcherson, he's in there. He's looking down the hallway. He's checking the vents. He's got the flashlight. You know, he does his thing, checks the flashlight, just like, you know, the game where you check and then you do other stuff, then you go back and flash again. It was really cool. And the animatronics come and the Withered come and he puts the mask on. He takes the mask off, and then Foxy doesn't, you know, stop with the mask. It's useless against Foxy. And all that. I'm like, this is great. This is just like the game. But it lasts 10 minutes. That's it. Maybe less, maybe like a bit more, but no more than 15 minutes. And I'm like, fuck, bro. And this is at the end of the movie, by the way. This is the last 30 minutes. It's not a long movie, but it's not short. It's like roughly an hour 50, maybe hour 45. I don't know. But so last 30 minutes, 35 minutes. So that was really cool. And then in the beginning, there's some lore stuff about, you know, the original FNAF location, which is from FNAF 2, the one from FNAF 1, and the animatronics show up and whatever. And the animatronics look amazing, by the way. They look so sick, dude. Like the toy animatronics, the OG ones, the Withered. And then there's another one that isn't in the first two that shows up, which is also really cool looking. Whoever they hired to make that shit, they better have gotten paid well. I'm sure they did. But it absolutely, like, it looked perfect. They looked so fucking cool. I was blown away at whoever designed them and how they moved and whatnot. It was fucking crazy. But they aren't in the movie that much. Like, the Toy Chica has a big role in the movie. And I said this to Coco last night. This feels like the Sonic movies. Granted, I think the Sonic movies are all better than the FNAF movies. I think Sonic 1, 2, and 3 are better than FNAF 1 and 2, even though they're drastically different. But the FNAF 2 has the same problem Sonic 1 and 2 had. Sonic 1, if you didn't watch the movies, there's a lot of human subplot. Sonic 1 is just Sonic, I believe, versus Eggman. Sonic 2 has Tails and Knuckles. Sonic 3 has Shadow. But also in those movies, as they add more characters, they slowly get rid of the human subplot. So there's humans in Sonic, but in the games as well. But they don't have a huge presence because, of course, it's Sonic and all the other creatures, whatever they're called, okay? And the first Sonic movie, there's a subplot with humans, and it happens for a majority of the runtime, and people really dislike that. And the second one, there's like a big wedding, whatever, and it's less time than the first, but it's better. And then the third one, they almost completely removed it because clearly whoever made the movies was listening to what fans had to say. And so FNAF 2 does the same thing where in the first movie, there's a lot of like side human stuff, but honestly, I would say it's even more than the first one. I think, maybe I'm wrong because I haven't seen the first one since it came out originally. I only saw it once. But maybe it's on the same level. Either way, it has like a side plot with Abby, and it's the animatronic, the Toy Chica specifically. But it just isn't that interesting. It's kind of like, I understand why they did it and towards the plot and like how it played in with each other. But a lot of this movie felt like things happened without reason, just like all the time. Like a lot of things that were set up, a lot of things that were happening felt like set up for later in the movie or set up for something else just to happen. Like it felt like it was only going on because the writers or whoever needed a reason to make something happen or have some plot device or have some animatronic or something work and make sense. So it just didn't just happen, quote unquote, and not make sense. Which is annoying because I could feel it, and I'm not even a critic, bro. But I was watching, I was like, why is this going on? This doesn't make sense. And so, along with that, also a lot of stuff in the movie just like kind of cuts. Like Abby bicycles to the FNAF 2 location, the original Five Nights at Freddy's Pizza location, from like her school. And it happens like 2 or 3 times. And then she also bicycles from her house to that location. And in my head, I'm like, okay, they didn't know about this original location, which is fine. But she bikes there. Mike doesn't know about it. And then he knows about it. Then he drives there. And then she bikes from her house to school, or like school to the pizza location. And the time jump of how quickly it is between all these different times, it doesn't make sense. Like it will be daytime, and she'll ride her bike there. However far this second FNAF pizza location is that they didn't know about in the first movie, that somehow no one knew about at all in the whole movie except for the Vanessa, the main girl. She biked there really quickly, and then later on, it took her forever. It took her throughout the whole night, and I'm just like, bro, like, I get it. It's like it's a PG-13 kind of kids movie, whatever, and they need the plot to go along and blah 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 blah. But just a lot of it was just like, this isn't lining up. Like this feels like there should be something happening in between this. Or, maybe she wasn't riding her bike, or she got there some other way, or the writers did some other way to have these things play out. It just felt really weird and maybe not abrupt is the best word, but just kind of like shoehorned in for the sake to move the plot forward or for the sake of certain scenes to happen. So that kind of annoyed me. And it doesn't really ever annoy me in movies because I like to suspend my disbelief because I love superhero movies, and anime and whatever, action, whatever. I'll watch any movie, and I'll suspend my disbelief for the sake of the movie. But for this, I was just like, this just doesn't make sense. Like, I can't suspend it this much. I know there's fucking animatronics walking, so, like, Jordan, what are you talking about? But there needs to be some sort of, like, possibility in this movie to make sense to a degree with how stuff happens, like normal stuff happens, okay? The animatronics is one thing, but, like, I don't know why it irked me so much, man. So that was kind of a problem. Also, the marionette, the puppet, was good. It was kind of it was actually scary. Scariest part of the movie, for sure. The makeup that they did for that puppet was fucking crazy as well. I don't really know the full lore of some of the characters that showed up, or, you know, or 2 or 3 characters that showed up, and how that played with everything. But it was really cool how that was done, and how that seemingly... There's some stuff that happened. I was like, oh, that's what that is? Like, that's how that happens? Because I guess they explain it more. Because, you know, the FNAF games are... I don't know. I don't watch that much game theory, and I haven't in a couple years, so I've probably missed a lot of what's going on. But there was some good stuff, right? And then also, there's no kills in the movie. Like, there's some good gore moments, right? And there's some dismemberment or body parts, whatever. I don't need that, but, you know, it's a horror movie, and it's PG-13, so they got to balance it some way. But it's a scary movie, so it needs to be scary. So that stuff was like, oh shit, like that, like it's showing how the animatronics, you know, are evil. Okay? But there was like 1 kill. 1 on-screen. Actually, that's a lie. There was like 4 or 5 on-screen kills. And I don't need them to go on like this psycho murder rampage. But I feel like it was less than the movie. And the first movie, I feel like so many more people died, or so many more situations where the characters were in like peril, compared to this one. This one felt like less people died, less characters were in peril, and like it was scary at certain points, but other points it felt like it was the same, if not worse, than the first, which was really weird because the new animatronics, they didn't kill anyone. Like, only the marionette did most of the work, which is, like, fine. But, like, dude, like, I want to see them in action. You have the Withered, which is, like, the original ones that are all fucked up, right? And then the toy ones. So you got, like, 5 or 6 new ones. Or, like, not even. That's more. You have, like, fucking 7 or 8 in total. But most of them got no screen time. Like I said, Toy Chica was in the majority of the movie. Because it's voiced, right? And she talks. And that's okay. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about that. But the Toy Chica subplot, I'm like, bro, what is happening? It was so weird. It, like, God, it felt, like I said, it felt like Sonic, where there'd be a cool moment with Mike or Vanessa or whoever was in the movie, or, like, there was this really good flashback or, like, dream sequence with Matthew Lillard, William Afton. It was so good. I wish he was in the movie more. I know he can't because, like, lore reasons, and he will in the 3rd one because, you know, that's how it works with Springtrap. But that scene of him was the best scene in the movie by far. Because 1, I think he's a good actor, and 2, it was just shot well and directed well. I was like, dude, what happened? Why? Like, it was also kind of scary. Like, it had, like, he was scary. The way he was laughing and, like, being a psycho in, is it Vanessa? I don't know if I'm messing her name up. In her head, I was like, bro, he's fucking scary, dude. And that's 1 for his acting. But I was like, damn. I wish the rest of the movie felt like this, because it really didn't. Most of the jump scares were predictable or not that scary, and there was a couple good ones. But yeah, I'm ranting at this point. But that's like the major gripe of it. I think it could have been a bit longer, and also kind of picked up quicker. The beginning of the movie, I was just like, dude, what? Like, this is just weird. The pacing was kind of weird in the beginning, like first 30 minutes. Really nothing too crazy. But I felt like the best parts in the movie was the last 30 minutes. Because it felt like the game at the, like, kind of to the end. But the rest of the movie, I was like, this isn't, like, we lost the essence of the game. I know it's about lore, and they got to set up, you know, how the things happen and how the toy animatronics are real and all this stuff, and you can do that. But it's like, bro, what about the whole point of the second one, or all the games is 5 Nights at Freddy's? What? I don't even think there was 5 night sequences in the movie that they were at the place. You know what I mean? Like, in my head, I was counting. Maybe I'm wrong. But in the first one, Mike is there 5 nights. Like, legitimately 5 nights, right? I think so. Or there's 5 nights that happen in the movie that he is present in some way or something like that. But in this one, he was there for 1 night. 1 night! This isn't 1 night at Freddy's. It's 5. If he was there for 2 nights or 3 nights, I'd be like, yeah, cool. I don't care. But that 1 single night, he was in and he was out. And that was the best part of the movie, because it was just like the games. And I'm like, how did they get this so well? And then the rest of it, they just kind of threw away. It made me so sad, because it showed that, like, they can do it. They can lock in and make this shit just like the game. And it doesn't have to be just like the game, because it's a movie and the game is totally different. But, like, they should have had more elements or more scenes or more, somehow did it in a way that just, I don't know, bro. I was just sad, because I was like, this is it could be so much better. I thought we learned from the first one. And then to top it all off, just one more thing. They deadass had in Avengers Endgame, portal scene at the end. Do you know how in Avengers let me turn the music off, where everyone's stepping out of the portal with Steve Rogers at the front, and he's like, holy shit, like, we're gonna kick Thanos' ass, right? Everyone's seen that scene or have watched the movie in some capacity, right? They deadass have that. I'm not even, like, that happens at the end. There's not portals, but, like, that type of, literally is the end, and I'm like, dude, the power of friendship? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I know it's PG-13, and it's Five Nights at Freddy's, right? It's inherently a children's, young teens game. A lot of the fans are teens. And so, obviously fans aren't. I'm fucking 22. But, so I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt and be like, okay, like, it's PG-13, whatever. But at the same time, bro, it's a horror movie. In the beginning of the movie, someone gets their head chopped off, and you see, like, their body parts fall, right? So why are we doing this Kingdom Hearts-ass fucking, we'll save you? Like, what? And that's right at the end, right? And like, the main characters, none of them really get to encounter the animatronics for the rest of the movie, before or after, or do anything to them. Like, there's no, like, 1v1 or, like, sequences where they have to, like, deal with an animatronic and kind of, like, use their surroundings to either get away or, like, run from them or try to attack them in some sort of way. A lot of it is like, okay, we're going to hit the animatronic with a car. We're going to try to run away from it. Or we're not going to do anything, and the other animatronics or other things in the movie that happen, we'll take care of them. And I'm just like, dude, what? That doesn't, like, why? Like, what are we doing? The whole point of the movie, like, games is like, I'm like, you should try to, like, fit these elements in some way more throughout, Like, I don't know. The ending was cool. It leads off, it leads into the third one, and there's a mid-credit scene and an end-credit scene that was, also really good. And Corey Kenshin was in it too. He had a cameo, and Matt Pat was the voice of Bonnie, I think, or Freddy, one of the two. Megan Fox's Chica was fine. I know her voice acting's pretty rough in, like Mortal Kombat and other things, but she was fine as Toy Chica because, it's like a robot voice, so it's heavily edited. So that was no issues there. Animatronics looked great, like I said. Josh Hutcherson and the rest of the cast did fine. Abby, the kid actor, so, hit or miss here. But there were some good moments, right? And if you're a FNAF fan, go see it. I think you'll still like it, and you'll think it's cool, and you'll like to see the visuals and stuff that happens and be excited for the third movie and understand references and hear whatever. But, damn, like, critically, if you're not a fan, it's just not a good movie. It's just really not. It's not really scary. The way stuff happens and the plot happens is just, a lot of it just feels like it's happening, so it can push it forward even more. And yeah, that's it, man. I think that's all my complaints, which is a lot. But I wish it was scarier. Okay, spoilers. So if you care about spoilers, click off the video or mute the stream for like 2 minutes before I'll show something else on screen. But so, dude, there's a major subplot with Abby going to school. Right, she's going to school. It's like a year or two after the first film. I don't know how long it is. Maybe it's 6 months. I really don't know. But she's going to school, and there's a robotics fair, right? And there's like a whole thing with her teacher is like a dick and thinks that she's too stupid to participate in the robotics fair. And so you're like, oh, right at the start of the movie, you see that. You're like, okay, so of course she's going to, like, use the animatronics in some sort of way for the robotics fair, or something bad will happen. You're like, okay, this makes sense of how this plays into each other. I thought that was fine. But later on, she brings Toy Chica to it, because Toy Chica is her friend, right? Because the marionette is, I think it was controlling all the toy animatronics, like wirelessly. That's what they explain it in the movie. And it was like tricking her or something. I don't even remember because I don't even know if it was the original Kid Souls or what. I don't know how it worked. I don't think so, because they're in the original ones. But either way, Toy Chica was chill with Abby, and she went to her school for the robotics fair. And Abby's like, look, Toy Chica's my invention. And the teacher, who's a dick, He does some other shitty stuff earlier on. And he's like, you can't participate in this because clearly this isn't yours. And so from that point on, he's like, this is so annoying. Let me go get the keys for something. So he goes and gets the keys from like his room, and it's like down this dark hallway at the other side of the school, right? And so then Toy Chica goes and kills him, crushes his head, totally like this, which is kind of cool. That was like the one major kill I could really think of that you see. And so I was like, damn, that's crazy. But it happens like at the end of the movie, and also like that happening, and then she like walks back with Abby, and then I don't even know, I forget what happens after that. It's the end of the movie, like last 30 minutes. But like that was cool, but at the same time, it's like, dude, this whole thing of like the animatronics wandering around the neighborhood is just weird. Maybe that was in the games, and maybe like they're trapped in the pizzeria because of the marionette, because that's what they say in the movie. They're trapped in there because they have the perimeter locks on. So the perimeter locks get turned off, so they can then leave the pizzeria. And so then they start traveling around this neighborhood going to kill parents, because obviously the kids' souls are in the animatronics, so they hate parents, because the reason the marionette dies is because the parents weren't taking care of her, looking after her at the pizzeria originally, and that's how Springtrap, Matthew Lillard, William Afton, whatever, kills her, like back, in the beginning of the lore. And so she controls the toy animatronics to go kill parents, and so they like go around the neighborhood and like, I need to kill these parents because they're bad. And I don't know, I just thought I was like, dude, I get it, but at the same time, it was just kind of stupid. I was like, this is like, can we like stop with the whole them roam? Like, keep them in the pizzeria, and if they leave, maybe not have them like fucking traverse the city to different houses. I just thought it was weird. And then also, because now I'm talking about spoilers, at the end of the movie, what happens, dude? Literally, they all converge at Mike's house, right? Mike and Abby, Mike's Josh Hutcherson. They all converge there, the toy animatronics and the original ones. Because Michael Afton, who is Vanessa's brother, I don't know if that's the purple guy or whatever it is in the lore, but he wants the animatronics to come back because he wants to continue the will of his dad, William Afton, because he wants to, because he's also evil. And so he shows up at their house and is like, hey, look, the toy animatronics are here to kill you. And they're all like coming through the window and like behind them, and they're ready to kill them. And the marionette is also there, and they have the toy box, which I thought the marionette storyline was actually good. But they all are there, and this is the Avengers portal scene. Abby, I don't know how it happens again, but the original animatronics show up, like the OG kid souls that are friends with Abby by the end of the first movie, show up and all take out the toy animatronics. They all appear like out of nowhere. Like, not out of nowhere, but, they appear like it's Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, whatever the fuck, and they just kill them. And I'm just like, bro! Like, Abby and, like, Mike are here and Vanessa are here being surrounded, and then they come one by one. It's like, shot here of, like, original Freddy, shot here of Foxy, and music plays, and then they kill them. I was like, dude, what is happening? It's like, I it's not the most egregious thing, but at the same time, I'm just like, you know what? It was a whole, like, and Abby's like, oh, my friend saved me. And then the kids' souls, like, escape from the animatronic bodies, finally. I didn't watch it yet, no, don't worry. So, I don't know. It just, and then the movie ends. That's literally the last 5 minutes. And then the marionette, the puppet, still is, like, chill and takes over what's-her-name's body, and then ends with a shot of her standing at the door. Oh my God, I forgot about this. Mike says to Vanessa, I don't want to talk to you. You're crazy, or some shit like that. And he walks out the door. And then there's a final shot on Vanessa with the puppet behind her, and it takes over her body, and then the movie ends. And I'm just like, bro. Which is crazy, because Mike and Vanessa have the subplot in the beginning of the movie where he kind of likes her, and they go on a date. Because, obviously they had some sort of chemistry in the first movie. But the problem is Mike wants to move on because, it's a traumatic experience, and Abby still is on that shit too, and he doesn't want her to, stay thinking about the psycho animatronics. And then Vanessa never brings up her having a brother or knowing about the original pizza location. And so because her lying to him or never bringing it up, he doesn't fuck with her. So at the end of the movie, he just walks out. And it ends. And I don't think that was, like I said, I don't think that was egregious either. But I was just like, this is an interesting way to handle this. And then, like I said, it ends, and then credits roll. And then the mid-credit scene is these people going into the OG, or not the OG, but the first movie location. And they see Springtrap on the ground. And they're like, no way, we found a real one. And it's Springtrap, like, and they're like, well, we should take it. And then his eye turns on, because obviously he comes back in the third movie. And then there's an end credit scene, which I didn't know. I didn't stay for, because I thought that was the scene, the mid-credit scene. But apparently there's an end credit scene that's just like Corey Kenshin, like a thing. It's like a cameo or whatever. But that's that. That's the FNAF 2 movie. I talked about that for longer than I thought. But it was I enjoyed it. As a FNAF fan, I thought it was enjoyable. It was silly. Not in a good way. I wish it was scarier. I wish there was more stuff that was like the 15-minute sequence at the end with Mike, putting on the mask and checking the vents, just like the games. That was perfect. That was like the most perfect 20 minutes of 5 Nights at Freddy's cinema I've ever seen. It was really good. But everything else was just kind of weird. So I think critically, the ratings being a 15% is pretty low. I wouldn't say it's that bad. I definitely say it's like a solid like 30 to 40% though. But personally, I'd give it like a 60. I give like a 6 out of 10 personally. Critically, it'd be like a 3 to 4 out of 10. It's pretty rough. Because I wouldn't recommend someone to watch it if they didn't care for FNAF. Because it would just it'd be just like this nonsensical kind of thing. Unless they want to get into it. But I wouldn't be like, yo, mom, we should go see this horror movie if she liked horror movies, because she probably wouldn't enjoy it. But either way, that's that. I'm still happy I bought this. I wish I got the cup. And the third movie, if it gets greenlit, because I'm sure it will, should be the best one. One, because I hope they see the reviews and say, we got to fix some shit. And two, Matthew Lillard obviously is like the main villain, because Springtrap is the main problem of the third one. So I'm sure that if it's just focused on Springtrap, it should be good. And they have less to like work with. Or they have less... They don't have as much stuff to work with, so they can really hone in on, like, Springtrap and the, like, main characters, which is really cool, and I hope so. Also, spoiler, because one more thing, because I'm talking about spoilers, the fucking sister location doll, is it Dolly? I forget the name, shows up in the movie. Like, straight up, I forget what, is it, I think it is FNAF Dolly. It's not Dolly. FNAF... sister location main character. Who is the main character of Sister Location, the animatronic? She has the red hair. Circus Baby. Sorry, I'm a fake fan. Circus Baby shows up in a dream sequence of Vanessa, and it's dead ass. It looks pulled from the game. It's the most, like I said, the animatronics are perfect. Whoever made them, they hopefully got compensated well, because shit looked majestic. It was 2 seconds that disappeared, so I'm sure they'll reuse it for the third one. But that shit was also crazy. That was really cool when that popped up, because I was like, hey, I know who you are. Obviously, I didn't know the name, but that's that. So yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie. There it is.